In this video, I'll be going over how to use Maya 2011 to create a character's head. First off, I want to go over is how to make this tool I like using inside of Maya that allows you to split faces in half, or more like a ring of faces in half. So an example would be if I were to grab this right here. With a simple click of a button, I can cut things in half. So I want to go over how to create that tool real quick. First of all, if you click on anything, let me turn off my mirror. Okay, that's off now. Click on any of these things, press up. This right here basically selects the edge ring. And if we go to Edit Mesh and go to Connect Components, this will cut that edge ring in half. If you go in my script editor, you'll notice that everything I've done has been recorded inside the script editor. For example, the pig walking, that's part of the line where it selects the whole edge ring. And this line right here connects the components. So if I take these two, middle mouse drag it down in here, and this line, middle mouse dragging down with the semicolon. Selecting both of these, you can copy it. Also for those who like to use commenting, I'll comment this line real quick. Selects the edge ring, and this splits the edge ring in half. Alright, let's copy that. If you go to Windows, Setting Preferences, Hotkey Editor, you can add it to any of these menus or categories. I'm going to put this under Edit Mesh. If you click New, you can give it a name. I guess I'll call this Divide Edge Ring, which I think I already have. It's already in there. You can give it a description and you paste it. Once you paste this code in here, give it a description, click Accept, and it'll add itself to the list. Okay? Next, what you want to do is click on your new item and assign a hotkey to it. Just type a hotkey in here. I've assigned mine to the exclamation point. This just makes life just a little bit easier. So now you can click a single button and it'll split the edge ring in half. So again, just like that, it just allows me to work faster. Alright, now that we have that down, if I were to do this straight, you won't have to wonder how I'm doing this in the video. I'm going to the front view. Seems like my Maya is acting kind of weird now. Alright, I just paused the video to delete my preferences, reopen it, and now it seems like I can go to the front view. Okay, now I'm in the front view. The tool I'm mainly be using is under the Mesh, Create Polygon tool. This helps me create my first polygon. From there, I'll be extruding every edge from that point on. So let's start this off. Create Polygon tool. Zoom up to the eye region. This is where I typically do my drawings to start from the eye, so this is why I model this way. Create that. Enter. And go to X-ray mode. This way I can start seeing everything. And after I extrude any part, I always start tweaking them a bit. So here I go, extrude. Move this out. Rotate. Extrude again. Rotate again, and one more time. Extrude this across. I'm just going to match this with these points up here. Extrude this upwards. And I'm going to vertex snap this. I'm going to click on this, use my move tool, and hold V down. It'll snap. A lot easier. So, the simple question is, why did I make this shape instead of a typical circle that most people do in probably a lot of tutorials you see online or in books? The reason why is because if you have this as a normal circle, then instead of having the eyelid go down this way, you'll have trouble making any of the creases here, and they'll want to go upwards. Same with this. If we look at the flow of this line, it's pointing downwards, going toward the nose. So I don't want to break up the consistency and make it go up. So all of this is for mainly balance of the wireframes. Also helps a lot more wires go down to the ears, where we'll need a lot, and a decent amount going out of the nose that we also have detail in. In the end, when you're done, I like to call this almost like a little fish shape, because if you look at the little tail here, it creates a little body of the fish. This should help you get just about all the detail you need in the eye region without having for it to go too far. Typically we're worried about this because if I insert an edge loop, it'll go too far, going all across, and this will connect all the way through. Later on I'll go over a trick to keep the detail within this area and still keep the same flow that we have for the eyes. Alright. Make sure each time you start closing any areas up, you have to merge vertices. So I'm going to set my settings real quick. Go to Edit Mesh, Merge Options. And I'm going to set this value to 0.0001. The reason why is this basically is merging anything that's right on top of each other. Anything higher basically means you're merging things that are relatively close together. With this, I'm going to extrude this across. Alright, I want to snap this to the center line and make it perfectly straight. So double click on my Move tool and go to its attributes, uncheck Retain Component Spacing, and now when I'm moving, make sure you're also in World, hold down the letter X and it'll snap it to the middle. For those who like to work on both sides simultaneously, you can always do the Edit, Duplicate Special Options. Set this to an instance with a negative scale of 1 on X. And now you have both sides. Let's turn on the wireframe. I purposely drew him so that he is asymmetrical on both sides, not the exact same. And at the same time, I took perspective into account, so I drew him without perspective, so he looks a bit flat on both sides. The reason why is when you're 3D modeling, taking perspective photos actually hinders you a bit. It goes against what you want to model in perspective view. Okay, let's have these so they flow properly. Now we'll start extruding out the basic shape of the nose. Extruding this straight down, globally, down this general area of the nose. So as they always say, you block out everything first and you start adding detail afterwards. So get this main body part of the nose here. Extrude this down. Basically doing everything that we can see. I'll take care of the side view later. For now, I'm just concentrating on getting this main part of the front of the face. Extrude this out for the nostril. This is the front side of the nostril. This part we're going to extrude now is basically the side area of the nostril. Get roughly into place. Extrude again, straight down. Take care of the area above the lip. Extrude this across. Snap this point up here. Move this down. And now I'm going to click on this line and split it in half. Let's try that again. Oops. Oh, there we go. Sometimes the script acts up. I'm not quite sure. It's maybe a Maya bug more than anything. So move this up right here. Pull this in. Each time I add a new line, you always want to tweak everything around it. Now I'm going to extrude this area. Out like so. Snap this. There we go. And these two down. We're going to basically create the area around the mouth. So people always ask me how I model. It's pretty simple. Extrude this down. Rotate this. The bottom part over here. extrude this across. We're keeping it very basic for now. Extrude again. And again. Clicking all these lines. And add an extra line in between here. Just to run it out a lot more. Alright, I'm going to merge these areas on top. And there we go. Okay, now I'm going to extrude this bottom part of the chin straight down first. I'll split this line in half. We'll have to move this line later when we go to the side view. I want to take care of the side of the nose real quick on this side. I want to make sure everything fits properly. I'm going to move this down a bit. Move this point up. I'm going to cut across over here. Insert edge loop. Place that right there. Extrude this line up. I'm going to take care of this area of the nose. Now I can extrude this out also. Merge everything together. If you look at this, the line, the gap here is too big, so we need to make it a little bit more equidistant and just cut that in half. Then we have generally the most important parts for the front of the face before we continue going too far. This is what I like to get done. Later we'll put more detail. Alright, just make sure you save often because Maya has a tendency to like to crash on you. So try to save a lot. Just in case Maya crashes, you can always go back to one of your iterations that you have. I cannot stress how important that is. There will be times when you work on it and in the middle of saving it actually crashes. So at least you have something to go back to. Alright, let's take care of the side. So when doing the side view, if we just look at the side view, it'll be nearly impossible to select any of these points. So what I like to do is go back to my quad view, like so, and take this middle line right here, where you highlight it. You can pull this all the way up. As you see both the front and the side views simultaneously. If you don't see this, you can always change both of these cameras. Now I can select any point I want from the front view here, and then move it to the side. Example, if I select this point here, I can just move it forward on this side. Just move this forward, and just keep pulling them forward until you get the entire profile view. Scanning the side and silhouette of the face. I typically do the silhouette first. Then I start pulling out everything else. Don't bother moving them up and down yet, other than maybe this area of the chin. The reason why is we'll be adding more edge loops, and we'll be tweaking it. Remember, this is still a blocking out phase. We're not getting too much detail yet. It's easy to want to move them up and down, but remember, whatever you do on the side will affect the front view. For those who are using photos, a lot of times the image on the side and the front don't match up perfectly, so you just have to adjust accordingly. Right here it seems like my drawing wasn't perfect, so things didn't match up as I was hoping. But I'm just going to deal with it. Pull this to the front. These two lines though, they must be adjusted, as you can see right there. So I'm going to move them up over here. It makes no real difference in this front view, so I'm not too concerned about that. Alright, once I get that part, I start pulling the sides. I'll pull this point a little bit back too. This is too high up. and basically keep on working around to get the entire face. By the time you're done, it should look something similar to this. Notice how close most of these are to the front. The reason why is because if you don't do this, you have the face being very angular and very almost like pointy and triangular to the front. Make sure you always check the perspective view. Right now it's very low poly, not too much detail, but it does give you a general gist of how it should look like. To make sure the eyes are proper, what I'm going to do is going to drop into spheres, or just one sphere for now to make sure one of those work. There goes our little sphere here. I'm going to rotate this. I'm holding J to rotate snap. Place it where the eye should be. Scale it up a little bit. And now I'm going to go to side view and move this up to where it should be. Right there. Now to go back to perspective view, turn off transparency, I can see where it's going through and adjust accordingly. Move all these forward. And that should work much better. Move this forward too, it's flattening out way too much. It's all getting way too angular earlier than I want it to. And just like that, you can generally see how the eye should be. And pull these back a little bit more. Alright, so now we have the basic shape of the face. If the weird shadowing is causing you problems, go to normal, soften edge, and you should be okay. I'm going to keep the wireframe on shaded. The next step I'll be doing is creating the lips, so I'm going back to the side view over here, turn that back on. I'm going to click the top lip right here, shift, double click this bottom part, select just that loop, and extrude, globally, scale inwards. Getting roughly close. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move these accordingly, the tops, where they're supposed to go. Zoom in if you need to. And take care of the bottom. The bottom will probably go through some parts of the top. Just make sure everything's all proper. Pulling it past. Just pulling them in. Inwards. Now go to side view. Grabbing those, moving them back. Move this back. The middle, pull that back. Same with the top row, pull those back. Pull it up higher, that down a bit. Now if we go to perspective view, without X-ray on, you see the basic shape of the lips. Now I just need to split this in half and go in and adjust. Let's move this down a bit. And move this out. We get ourselves much better looking lips. Okay, let's close up more of the face and let's start extruding the jawline out too. So if I look at this, I'll see that this line, I want this point to connect at this point. But as it stands currently, there's two edges going down here and one down here. So to compensate for that, I'll just split this in half. Select these edges, extrude, get roughly to where we need it to go. I can actually snap it here already if I wanted to. Split that in half. Move those points so they attach to each other. Select around, merge. Just remember, whatever you do in the front, you must adjust on the side. Okay, I'm going to soften my normals again. And now I want to take care of the jaw line on the side. So again, I'm going to split this line in half. Just move this to adjust it accordingly. Move this back a bit and down. I'm going to take this edge right here and extrude it all the way back and up. This way we can define the jawline immediately before we forget. A typical mistake people do is they forget about doing this. So you start getting all these rings and you lose any form of defined jawline. I like to define mine immediately, that way you don't forget later on. Pull these out. And there we go, fairly simple. I want to get some more of the lines across here, so we're going to start attaching them. So I'm going to extrude these out, like so. Scale them in a bit, move them up. And I have to move them back on the side over here. If I look at this, I can tell I need to cut another line across, so insert edge loop tool, just like that. Attach this point down, and we look at the front, we'll adjust this whole front, so move it to the side. Snap, merge. Again, we do it for this part. Extrude, out, in, pull this back. And so we need to cut the line across, so insert edge loop. I want to show you how to use the current wireframe you have for it to guide you on how to create the next set. Just by extruding that, I could tell I needed to add an extra point right there. Merge those in. Pull these up. And there we go, we're getting more developed jawline at this point already. It's all following this point. It's pretty simple so far, nothing too difficult. Next part I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust some of these lines. Because we inserted a whole new loop in there, we haven't actually went in and played with any of these. And there we go. And pull some of these down too. Because we're going to put a lot more lines in here anyways. I'm going to pull all these out. If I look at this, I can extrude another line in. I'm going to take these two, extrude that, and close up this part of the face. Select around, merge, pull this back. That's pretty easy. Again, soften edge. Now let's see how it looks like in perspective view. Looks okay so far, not too bad. Alright, we can close these two areas right here up. Extrude those out. Back. And just merge. Don't worry, we'll be inserting a lot more edge loops inside the eye area, so I'm not too worried about the stretch that's happening right there. Okay, the next area I want to take care of is how low detailed the nose is and the eye is. Let's get this nose rounded out. The easiest way how I attack this typically is I look at this nose and look at the nostril. You see four sides. We want to make sure we keep this all quads. So I'm going to basically split this in half, cross in half, cross in half, cross in half. The reason why is I should get 8 there, and it should be a lot more than enough to basically round out the nose. So I'm going to click this one here, split that in half. That goes across over here, so split that in half. split the top in half, then split the bottom in half. And typically that I've added all that, it goes down, I would see the mouth. See a line coming down right here, and you split this in half too. Whatever you do to one top should be done to the bottom. The whole goal is, so when I close these areas up, like the mouth and the nostril, I should be able to get all quads. So let's adjust that real quick. Let's go into wireframe view and tweak all of these new points I have just added. All I want is to get a nostril that's a bit more round. I can do this on the side right here too. Pull this down. Pull these right here. Get these to cover the general basis. Just because I added a new one already, I can already add more detail to the side of the nose. Also, if you look at this, I have a lot of these lines going across. Now I can start shifting these up more. That way I can evenly spread all these new points I've just added. And this can go down here. And I get more of that shape. Same with the side. Everything we've added we have to go through and tweak. So being able to add this new piece in the front here, I can move some of these lip points more in the center and push these more to the side. Smooth them out. Just have to adjust them accordingly. And because of that, we can move the side also. So if you're having trouble, you can always move edges instead of just points. Move those back. And as usual, we're gonna adjust all of these little things over. I can select this point. I can slide my edge back so it conforms better on the side. And I'm going to do the same to the front now. I'm going to adjust all of these points nicely. So I go back to my move tool. Be careful about the side view too. It's easy to forget it. Now I can move a lot of these further back. Adjust these points here too. Make it more round. Move that in. Shape of the nose better. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to hide the eye. I'm going to put the eye on a separate layer. This way it doesn't get in my way anymore. And I'm going to line up some of these points. Much better now. To match that flow. Okay. Now we have that, we can look at the side of the nose right here. This isn't exactly round enough, so I'm going to split this line in half and go inside and tweak. And the nose is going to be a lot more round. Go in the side view. Now we actually have that point. Let's pull these better. And we have that. What I typically do is I take all of these sides right here, move them inwards, this way you can get that crease you need on the side of the nose, and pull some of these points out further. Pull that in the back. And as usual, because we add a new line, we can adjust all of these points down, so this chin isn't as polygonal anymore. So I'm shifting all of this stuff down now, by one. shifting that in this area now. Readjust all these points. In and down. Just like that. Make sure you check the perspective view. Still looking okay. Back to the front. Most of the little fine details I'll be sculpting that inside ZBrush instead. Right now my goal is to get yourself a very nice base mesh from Maya to take into ZBrush. And there we have it. We have the basic shape of this face. Working pretty good so far. I want to move some of these points forward to get the fatty area around the lip right there. Okay. Next area is I still don't like how pointed the nose is in the front main part of the bridge, so I'm going to go in and slice this also in half. So now that I've added that, I have to go through again, as usual, tweaking all of these points, pulling these out, really rounding everything out nicely. Pull these closer to the front. Should make it a lot less pointy. I look at perspective view now. That nose isn't as pointy anymore, and I can start refining some of these shapes back here. Move them further back. In, further back. If the nose is supposed to be this way, we can actually do that, and it keeps it nice and proper. If we want the pinch on the side of the nose back here to look significantly better, we can always move this back a bit more. Not too far back, just enough. Okay. The reason I didn't add an extra line down here is because I plan to end this loop right down in this area. So I'm using a split polygon tool, cut across just like so. Now unclick and get rid of this little line. Go to Edit Mesh, delete Edge Vertex, and it's gone. With that, we have a fairly round area of the nose. A lot of lines going up here and across. Sometimes I end this line right on the top, mainly because I don't want too many wires continuing. So if I look at this, this will continue, they'll all clump up, go out, and there might be more wires than I want. So I'm going to extrude this one more time up, like so. Pull them forward over here, and I'm going to end my line. So to do that, I'm doing the same technique, but on top instead, and kill this edge off, edit, delete edge vert, and there we go. And this should get ourselves the top part of the nose bridge, end that off. It's an easy way so that you don't continue pulling your detail too far. And pull this inwards while this goes in a bit more. In, snap this to the grid, and pull you up. Let's close the nose up. So go here, select the whole loop, extrude, scale in globally, move in this way, back, and up. I'm going to extrude again, up, back, inverse display. I'm just going on the back right now so you can see it. I'm going to scale it in. This way it limits any possibility of the inside of the nostril going through. Move it back even more. With that loop selected, I'm going to mesh, fill hole, caps that off, and cut my quads in. So cut across. And pull this point up a little bit. And go inside now and shape the inside of the nostril. I'm going to select this line right here, split that in half. I'm going to move both of these faces inwards. And this face even more so. There's actually a bump inside your nostril, and that's what I'm modeling right now. Go in here, split that in half again. Start getting all the other areas of the nose so it looks proper. There we go. I'm going to soften my normals. This part is coming out way too much as a point, so I'm going to move some of these back. I have to watch this. Actually, I need to pull that forward. All of this needs to be pulled forward a lot more. That's much better. Okay. Let's model more of the eye now. Delete the histories. So, let's put more detail around here, extrude some of this stuff in. We'll pull the sphere back now. Select on this whole loop. Extrude. Pull back until it touches the eyeball. Now I'm going to select the bottom area right here. Move into front view with X-ray. Turn out the whole wireframe thing is kind of hard to see, so I want to move this up so it matches that line. Just like that. Move these and adjust them properly too, so it matches more of the area around the eye properly. And that works much better. And pull this in slightly. That way we have a little nice curvature going in. If you look at this, it's still going in the eye slightly, so I'm going to move some of them forward. When I press 3 though, it should move in nicely. Extrude this whole line back again. Back. Scale it up. Now if I press 3, I can see how well it matches. If we want this line to be a lot sharper, just insert another edge loop. Closer, just like that. And that line will be significantly sharper. Same thing on the outside. If you want this whole line to be sharper, you just insert edge loops and you get that whole crease right there around the eye. Alright, so I'm going to hide this eyeball here. Take this whole thing, extrude out, and scale out a bit more. And extrude it back again. Just like so. Scale it down a bit. I'm going to fill hole. Mesh, fill hole. And cut down. Across. Not too concerned that it's going through the back of the eye, because we're not going to see it anyways. When we end this, we should get a triangle. That was to be expected, because we haven't added the crease around the eye on the outside.